Hello?
Is this it?
Yes, who's this?
This is Sid of the Pistols.
You calling from London?
Yeah,
Sid Bishop?
yeah.
This is Rodney Bingenheimer, Rodney on the Rock Show.
Oh, hi, man.
Hey, welcome to A&M Records. Congratulations.
Oh, forget all that. What do we have to do?
What? What time is it over there?
God knows.
God knows.
You're on the air. You're on Los Angeles radio right now.
Oh, fantastic.
Hey.
Hi, man. Hi, peace and love, fans.
Well, it may not be the greatest rock and roll in the world, but it's certainly the most controversial. One London newspaper called them the most aggressive, nasty band ever. They're the Sex Pistols and they're led by Johnny Rotten. And they've already been barred from most of the leading London clubs, both because of their music and because of the violence they bring with them. And yet this group are leaders of a whole new teenage cult that seems to be on the way to being as big as Mods and Rockers were in the 60s.
The cult is called punk, the music punk rock, basic rock music, raw, outrageous and crude, like their fan magazine, Sniffing Glue, which is produced and stapled together by two young punks from Deptford.
Punks have multicoloured hair, vampire makeup, ripped T-shirts held together with safety pins, swastika armbands, pink plastic trousers and tight leather jeans.
You can't buy this sort of gear in Marks and Sparks, so you have to go to shops like Sex in the King's Road.
Hello, Mr. Newman.
These are cardigans you can see through, like little woolies.
These restrict your arm movements somewhat.
So you're really caught right down there in bond. Well, what's actually wrong with what I'm wearing?
Mate, you look so bloody boring. I cannot believe it.
It's a question of how you feel. The point is to change yourself. And if you
But why? Why does one have to change?
Because then you'll
yourself?
feel great.
Do you think?
Well, I'd like to see.
Are you a punk rocker, madam?
No, I'm not. I like old-time dancing.
Come on, Meg.
Who's mad?
You.
Me mad?
Hey, look.
It's not me, but I wouldn't wear it. They're really stupid, man. The music's all right. You look a bit of a fool.
Now, there, Sherry, I took your advice and you came for a few moments of punk rock. What are they trying to do?
Well, they're trying to look individual and outrageous, and I mean the whole thing in that particular shop is based on bondage, isn't it? They're into straps and rubber goods and things.
I don't think the music's awfully pretty either. Have you heard the music?
Finding places to play is becoming harder, thanks to the reputation punks are getting as troublemakers. The 100 Club in Oxford Street has banned all punk groups after an incident at a punk gig where a girl was nearly blinded by a broken bottle.
And at the ICA 2 weeks ago, a boy had his earlobe bitten off by his girlfriend, driven to frenzy by a punk group, appropriately called Clash.
And the Sex Pistols themselves even had to hire a strip club to get their music heard.
And yet it's said that you're sick on stage, you spit at the audience and so on. I mean, how can this be a good example to children?
Well, people are sick everywhere. People are sick and fed up of this country, telling them what to do.
But not getting paid for it.
Pardon?
But not getting paid for putting on that sort of public show.
Well, nor are we. We ain't even being allowed to play.
Makes you sick, doesn't it?
In fact, you're acting as spokesman for the group today.
Yes, indeed.
Have you stopped them from talking to us.
Not at all. They're just so disgusted by having to answer so many questions about something so simple.
What about the word punk? It means worthless, nasty. Johnny Rotten, are you happy with this word?
No, the press gave us it. It's their problem, not ours. We never called ourselves punk.
Which bands do you think are really old hat now? Are you against the Stones and the Who? Sounds like that?
Yes, of course, because they're established.
I mean, who do you think is a good singer?
I don't. I don't have any heroes. They're all useless.
When you stood up and started singing the first time, what happened? I mean...
Oh, John, go on. It was wonderful.
No, come on.
People loved me. They threw flowers.
Well, look, I saw you the 6th time, and people were quite shell-shocked.
Well, then you know yourself, don't you?
Yeah, but surely by making a record, you're on the way to becoming part of the system.
No.
Not if you don't let yourself.
But supposing your record's a success.
Yeah?
I mean, which there are big chance it will be.
Oh, God,
and,
yeah,
okay,
it's
everyone. Supposing you make a lot of money, how are you going to be different from the Stones?
I don't need a Rolls Royce. I don't need a house in the country. I don't need to live in the south of France. I'm happy as I am, and I'm going to carry on.
Finsbury Park with these bands.
Don't live in Finsbury Park.
With us also is Giovanni D'Adamo. Now, I know you're very worried by the Sex Pistols. Why?
Well, not very worried, but there are aspects of what they do or what they provoke that worry me. You know, I think if you go out and out to provoke people like they've done, people react, right? And it's all very well for Malcolm to say it's good for bottles to fly through the air or mugs, but if they hit you in the head, or if they hit Johnny in the head...
You heard them, they're angry and they're frustrated. Now, do you think their music is worthwhile?
I've enjoyed it at times. There's times when it strikes me as a bit derivative. I mean, the great danger with the Pistols is that they can be boring. You know, their attitude can be boring. It can become boring. I mean, it's not, like I say, just destruction for its own sake is dull, ultimately. You know, it doesn't offer any hope. It doesn't really want to change. It's just saying, you know, we don't like this, we're different, look at us. You know, that's just attracting attention to yourself. I think it should be constructive revolution if it's going to be revolutionary, like...
You mean established?
You have to destroy in order to create, yes, you know that.
We hope tonight by this protest to make Wales know, to let the people of this town know that we do protest, and it is by no fault of ours that this thing has come to Caerphilly. We have done everything humanly possible to ban this thing and to stop it. And as we have not been able to, we have done the last thing possible to stand here in open protest to let you know that we are responsible and we are doing all we can to set an example in leadership and in every other way for clean living, holy living, and pure living.
How do you feel about the crowd opposite?
They're entitled to do what they want.
The thing is, they're outside, freezing. We're in here real, right?
Caerphilly didn't quite know what to expect, so took no chances. Pubs and cafes were closed before and after the concert. On decibel points, the Sex Pistols won. On numbers, it was a victory for the carol singers. Way under 100 passed the box office. Would the councillors who sparked off the protest join them?
We've had an invite from the promoters of the show, and we refused because we consider that a programme of this type is not to our liking anyway, and we wouldn't like to think, if we were to see the show, that it was put on solely for our benefit.
Are you pleased with the turnout here tonight?
Exceptionally pleased with the turnout. It's been very, very successful.
Excuse me, sir, can I ask you why you're here tonight?
Because I'm recognised as a Christian.
Never mind about Christianity. I think it's degrading and disgusting for our children to hear and see such things.
I got teenage daughters and youngsters. The one went to Rod Stewart, but I wouldn't let them go to see this rubbish.
If I thought one of mine was in there, I'd go in there and drag them out. Terrible, I think it is. I think it's disgusting. It's lowering the standard of our people in Caerphilly.
Dr. Natchins, how come that the Sex Pistols, with their extraordinary reputation, they're playing in Leeds Polytechnic tonight when they've been banned virtually everywhere else?
The only people who could really answer that is the Students' Union, which organises these kind of events. You may think this odd, and there are times that I do, but by the Constitution and the Articles of Government of the Polytechnic, I have no authority over what the Students' Union does. I mean, I am very carefully controlled, I may say, but the Students' Union is an autonomous body which handles its own affairs and its own money. So if they want to have these people here, who, about whom I know nothing, but they sound to me, you know, as pure and disgusting as most of these people do.
By some extraordinary coincidence, you're performing the Messiah in Leeds Polytechnic tonight also.
Yes, that actually is the thing. And even more oddly, such financing as the Messiah needs, it does in fact come from the Students' Union. But the Messiah is being performed actually in another building in the Polytechnic, and it's staff and students. There's quite a big choir, about 80 or 90. It's been rehearsing all yesterday afternoon. And it will do actually rather a good performance of most of the Messiah. It's an extraordinary thing. I mean, I suppose that by the evening, there will be two great sort of streams of prayer going out from Leeds Polytechnic, one upward and the other, I suppose, down, or maybe sideways.
I am told that that group have received £40,000 from a record company. Doesn't that seem to be slightly opposed to their anti-materialistic view of life?
No, the more the merrier.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, tell me more about it.
We fucking spent it, haven't we?
I don't know, have you?
Yeah. It's all gone.
Really?
Down the boozer.
40, really? Good Lord. Now, I want to know one thing.
What?
Are you serious, or are you just making me, trying to make me laugh?
Gone.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but I mean about what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You are serious?
Mm.
Beethoven, Mozart, Bach and Brahms have all died. Really?
Oh,
What are we saying, sir?
Wonderful people.
Are they?
Oh, yes, they really turn us on.
What do they do?
Well, suppose they turn other people on.
That's just their tough tricks.
Which one?
Nothing, a rude word. Next question.
No. What was the rude word?
Shit.
Was it really? Good heavens, you frightened me to
Oh,
death.
all right. See,
What about
play
you girls
games.
behind?
He's like your dad, isn't he, this geezer?
Are you,
Or your granddad.
are you worried, or are you just enjoying yourself?
Enjoying myself.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were doing.
I always wanted to meet you.
Did you really?
Yeah.
We'll meet afterwards, shall we?
You dirty sod. You dirty old man.
Well, keep going, Chick, keep going. Go on, you've got another 5 seconds. Say something outrageous.
You dirty bastard.
Go on, again.
You dirty fucker.
What a clever boy.
What a fucking rotter.
Well, that's it for tonight. The other rocker, Abel, and I'm saying nothing else about him, will be back tomorrow. I'll be seeing you soon. I hope I'm not seeing you again. From me, though, good night.
The Sex Pistols are, if possible, even better than the lovely Joni Mitchell.
Get up, Antichrist, I am an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know
a dream as a sharp skin. A woman dream. Ways to get what you want. I use the best, I use the rest. I use